This was where uptown met downtown, country met town, for the commingling of culture and experience from the commercial hurly-burly and the official authorities of government with the pastoral, unsophisticated, rural peasantry. While still a tree, it was a stopover for travelers and traders coming from different directions, halfway on the journey to and from the city to do business or indulge themselves in revelries and merriment. They met there and exchanged news of happenings from their different places before going forward and to carry back news on their return home. The spirit at the root of this cotton tree must have had many secrets from those meetings of what was happening both near and far. When the old tree died in 1866, the spirit was released to carry on the tradition for Halfway Tree to remain a meeting place for business and news and occasional festivities. Halfway Tree is what it says it was, a tree, a cotton tree that became a town and a catalyst for nationhood.
East to Hope Road, west along Hagley Park Road, north to Constant Spring, and south along Halfway Tree to Crossroads, making way to the Kingston capital. And at the center of the compass is King Edward's Memorial Clock. I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Halfway Tree, a place laced with history at every cardinal.
Residents of Portmore St. Catherine, due to the traffic restrictions at 3 miles in the corporate area, the following routes may be considered. If heading towards Halfway Tree from Portmore, motorists may travel along Marcus Garvey Drive on the East Avenue, then to Maxfield Avenue, and on to Halfway Tree. If heading towards downtown, the easiest route remains the same. Travel along Marcus Garvey, then into the Capitol. Follow the road signs for an easy commute from and to Portmore St. Catherine.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Government signed a 25-year concession agreement this week with Mexican company Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico for the operation of the Norman Manley International Airport.
GAP will be responsible for operating and maintaining the airport, improving the efficiency of both land and airside operations, and financing and completing the planned modernization program. This will include an agreed capital works program to be completed within the first 36 months of the concession agreement, aimed at expanding and upgrading the facilities at the airport.
Now we can possibly take in more flights. Well, definitely you will have to take in more flights.
The latest figures coming out of the Jamaica Constabulary Force show an 18.6% reduction in 4 categories of major crimes: murder, shooting, rape, and aggravated assault. Senior Director for Modernization and Strategic Projects in the Ministry of National Security, Arvell Grant, has reported that an additional 500 cameras have been bought under the Jamaica Eye program and will be installed over the coming months. By early next year, 1,000 cameras should be installed and fully integrated into the system. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says there has been a significant improvement in the case disposal rates of the courts. He told Parliament on Tuesday that this was proving to be a catalyst for improving the case clearance rates across parish courts.
The overall clearance rate for the second quarter of 2018, this is the last quarter, was 98%, an improvement of 9 percentage points over the first quarter. Although these results indicate that there are still more new cases filed than cases disposed of across the parish courts, the overall direction is quite positive for the reduction of the criminal case backlog.
A national trade information portal has been launched to provide a central access point for laws, regulations, procedures, and other measures relating to trade. The portal will become operational in mid-2019.
This is all part of a modern and coordinated approach to doing business. at international standards. Trade has always played a major role in the Jamaican economy, with the value of exports and imports totaling over 50% of the country's gross domestic product.
At the same function, the National Foreign Trade Policy and Consultancy was unveiled to complement the portal. Residents of Kingston Town and its environs are now enjoying advanced technology installed at their improved health center, which has also been equipped to pilot the use of telemedicine.
We are here today with the support of technology companies like Flow, support of the specialists at university, to pilot this location between here and you in the first instance, this technology called telemedicine, and we're very proud of that.
The Ministries of Health and Local Government have joined forces with a number of private sector entities to construct a new ward at the St. Catherine Infirmary. The ward will house social cases from the Spanish Town Hospital. Work on a similar facility in Westmoreland is to begin in November.
Clarendon is also on the card. As we move right across the country to free up the bed space so that persons who are seeking attention in public hospitals will be able to find adequate room.
Government has signed a contract for China Harbour Engineering Company CHEC to construct the Montego Bay Bypass. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Carl Samuda, says the contract was signed more than a week ago. And finally, the top 5 finalists have been selected in the Houses of Parliament design competition, earning $2 million each.
5 finalists now have an opportunity to further refine their designs and submit 3D renderings and further details by December 18th this year. The jury will reconvene in January 2019 to deliberate once more, with the final awardees announced in February.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
Rocksteady, reggae and dancehall, Jamaica's music continues to impact the world. And this year, the 8th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition celebrates our vibrant and dynamic musical heritage. I say yeah, I say yeah, what I say, do what I say. Can you hear me say yeah, yeah, it's what I say, and right now someone else has died.
Students aged 9 to 12 enter the essay competition. Write 500 words on the topic, how has Jamaican music contributed to the country's growth and development?
Give it to me 1 time. Give it to me 2 times.
Secondary level students enter the poster competition with digital or illustrated pieces, and tertiary level students, the photo competition is for you.
And right now, someone else has.
The topic for the poster and photo competition is Jamaica's music, the stage for growth and development.
Now moonshine, bright tonight, how we are trying to be all night till daylight.
For additional information, visit the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. Email heritage essay, heritage poster, heritage photo, all at jis.gov.jm, or call 876-926-3590 to phone.
It's my legacy, all I've got to say. Reggae my song.
The competition is now open,
and all entries must be submitted by Sunday, October 28th.
Prizes and surprises await you in the 2018 Jamaica Information Service Heritage Competition.
Lord, I feel like crying now. I feel I'm moving. And I feel
A language that is universal, one without barriers, a language that doesn't speak, but if you are still, you'll hear its murmurs and flutters from the gentle sway or rush from the passing wind. A language with a history, a story, the language of the Jamaican flag, in the words of our own.
I've traveled all over the world and I've seen the Jamaican flag in so many different countries, and it gives me a sense of pride.
Representing my country and seeing the flag means everything to me. It's an honor playing for the national team.
I've migrated for 19 years and have been living in the US, but there is no greater joy knowing how it has the power to connect us and bring us in the diaspora together.
For me, the Jamaican flag is a language, and it includes me in the conversations.
When the Olympics starts and I see the flag waving, it means a lot to us.
Sunday, August 5, 1962, 2 minutes to midnight. The new flag was about to be hoisted over the National Stadium. The lights were replaced by darkness, as if to expunge the horrid memories of the last 300 years. The red, blue, and white Union Jack did its last wave, and then it was lowered, gently tugged down the flagpole by a representative from the Jamaican militia. It had flown its course a long 307 years, and the replacement was the black, green, and gold, our very own Jamaican flag.
The Jamaican flag was approved by government the 6th of August 1962. It is important to know that a flag is a symbol which identifies a country. Started on a very sad note. In times of war, people need to identify with a symbol. So where you are standing, you would know that's my side. So the enemy could take away the flag, and then you would be ambushed and then get hurt. But on a joyful and peaceful note, our flag was established in '62 for our symbols. There was a very active competition, and there were many persons who would want to associate with the design, and so an approval was given. Looking at the flag is diagonal in gold, and there are 4 triangles. The top and the bottom green, and the others black.
The gold, represents sunshine and happiness. Our people, no matter if we're going through hardship, we're always smiling.
And the green is for our hope and agricultural resources.
And the black, then in '62, means hardships there are. And that was changed by government in 1997 with a committee presided over by Professor the Honorable Rex Nettleford. So it was changed to mean the creativity of the people. The flag has its protocol. It's never to be put on the ground, and it is placed to the right when you're on the platform. Of course, with athletics international competition, you'll notice people are wrapping the flags all over them. Years ago, that was unheard of because it's a solemn signal. When the national anthem is played or sung, you look in the direction of the flag. We are proud of our flag, and wherever we see it, there are some of us who still bow as respect to our dear country.
When I'm overseas and I see the flag, I feel proud because, not every country is at a big tournament. Not everyone will have their flag flying high.
Our flag is so special because it unites our people wherever in the world we are.
When I look down on the flag, it makes me feel proud as a Jamaican to know that I've been able to serve my country.
So yes, the Jamaican flag gives me a voice. We also have deaf athletes going to represent Jamaica in other countries. And when other countries see our flag, they feel proud, and we feel proud as Jamaicans.
The Jamaican flag represents pride to me The other day someone said we should have a Caribbean flag, and we said we already have one, it's the Jamaican flag.
Jamaican flags, it represents me, it represents you, it represents every Jamaican.
We're no longer subjects of colonialism, directed by the orders of the British, but free citizens of our very own country. O green Isle of the Indies, Jamaica, strong and free, our vows and loyal promises, O heartland, 'tis to thee.
Woman a heavy load, till Saturday morning come. Heavy as the load was, being the innovators we are, without a doubt, I know that she had a cutter cushioning the squeeze. Now, a cutter is a roll of cloth or vegetation placed on top of the head to cushion the skull from the weight of the load. Cutter, proof that innovation is in our genetic makeup.
One love, one family, one heritage. The JCDC presents Heritage Fest, Saturday, October 13 to Monday, October 15 at the Randy Williams Entertainment Center. Things kick off on Saturday with Richie Stevens and Scanation with performance from Wayne Marshall starting at 8 p.m. On Sunday, we rev up the excitement with Revival Time with Sister Pat at 5:30 p.m. Things close out on Monday, Heroes Day, with a day of excitement starting at 12 noon. Bring the kids to play in the village. Come enjoy coconut drops, dukunu, and lots more. Our heritage is a blessing. Let's live it up. And don't forget, it's free.
21 rectors since 1664, the resting place of Amy Jakes Garvey, wife of national hero Marcus Garvey. This gem, the St. Andrew Parish Church, has stood up to the test of times, and from this nook has seen the many changes in the Halfway Tree district. It has seen and been impacted by occurrences just like this one.
God and nature first made us what we are. And out of our own creative genius, we make ourselves what we want to be. Follow always that great law. Let God and the sky be our limit and eternity our measurement.
Marcus Garvey has paved the way for us to determine our own destiny, in which we validate who we are and what is most important to us.
It is he who taught us that the black skin is not a badge of shame, but rather a glorious symbol of national greatness.
I shall see the black man to see beauty in his own kind and stop bleaching his skin and otherwise looking like what he's not.
Encouraging us to heed the lessons of history, unleash the power of the pen, and create a new era of scientific greatness.
There is no future for people who deny their past. Mind creates, and as much as we desire in nature, we can have through the creation of our own minds. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. But in your homes and everywhere possible, you must teach the higher development of science to your children.
Jamaica's first national hero was born in St. Anne's Bay on August 17, 1887. Over the next half-century and 3 years, he would work, find love twice, raise his progeny, and leave behind a legacy that resulted in him being conferred with the Order of the National Hero in 1969. A lifetime after the UNIA was a fact, and the People's Political Party had foreshadowed modern self-governance, Marcus Garvey died in 1940 and finally returned home for lasting rest in 1964.
God's dearest blessings, I leave you for a while. One love.
Come out and support Jamaica's Sunshine Girls as they compete in an exciting international test series. Jamaica will compete in a week of competition against Trinidad and Tobago's Calypso Girls, followed by the England Roses. The countries compete at the National Indoor Sports Centre on Arthur Wint Drive, Kingston 5. Tickets are sold online at ticketpal.com and in limited amount at the venue on match days. Feel the rhythm, catch the vibe with Jamaica's national netball team, the Sunshine Girls.
We see railroads all over the country, but have we ever stopped to think about what good they are, other than a train or two passing by and days too infrequent to even remember? Asphalt is the not so new but most popular way of getting around the country. But before that development, Jamaica was known for the rail. A cutting-edge technology in our nation's earlier years, the railroad industry has done a great deal for the development of Jamaica. Come with us as we take a step back in time while traversing the metal tracks of our country.
The inaugural run of the railway in Jamaica actually took place on the 21st of November, 1845. However, the competition as to whether the Jamaican rail system or the Canadian system was the first in the Western Hemisphere outside of Europe and particularly Britain would have to deal with whether when the proclamation and the order to get the railway started, if you use that as the starting date, it's actually 1842 and not 45. The rail service became necessary in Jamaica after the abolition of slavery in 1838. You needed a replacement in the production cycle of getting sugar cane to the market, and a cheap means of transport was necessary, or became the necessary element as a replacement for cheap labor. And therein lies the rub as to why rail makes sense, not only then but now in Jamaica.
Entrenched in the rich dirt soil of the land, the wheels of the railroad industry began to turn, and things were looking hopeful for the nation.
One of the fascinating things about rail, and this happened not only for sugar, but for banana, for bauxite, and for passenger service, is that the operating costs for carrying one coach is pretty much the same from a marginal cost standpoint as carrying 100 coaches. So you put together what is called a train consist that gives you an efficiency bar none when it comes to land transport in moving people or in moving goods from one point to the next over extended long distance. The economics of that make a lot of sense in cheaper transport costs. So who benefits? The consumer, the user, the commuter, the person who has to take goods from Kingston to Montego Bay, because the more you carry is the less it costs you. That translates to benefiting the final user of a product or a service, because they end up paying less in transport costs, which is a factor into that final price of the goods because of the use of rail service. There is also savings from less accidents. It is a safer means of transport than other land transport means. So it's not only less costly or the most cost-effective land transport, it's also the safest means of land transport. Our history and our record is that we actually is one of the safest railway in the world during our operation.
But something or things happened that shook the railroad industry as a form of public transportation. Maybe not forever, but for a period far too long to ever forget. For the wheels just stopped turning.
The operation ended because the use of rail for passenger service on a national scale was not as economic as it needed to be. And without subsidy, the corporation found it difficult to continue. The capital outlay for rail and the maintenance operation is significant and costly. And over time, we found ourselves, the railway found ourselves not being able to properly maintain its infrastructure. Passenger rail has not been in operation since 1990, but other operations such as cargo has been in operation.
April 16, 2011 witnessed the reinstatement of trains into the formal transportation system. It's a work in progress, and the 2017-2018 operational plan for the Ministry of Transport and Mining is set on revitalizing the railroad industry. According to that plan, a priority program of the ministry is the restoration of rail service, facilitating the movement of cargo and passengers, and the development of a rail-based tourism attraction tour.
Revitalization plan that we have will make significant economic development contribution to Jamaica. I know there are concerns about whether, like other public transport, it will have to be subsidized. No. We will operate a business model that requires no subsidy from government. We have studies that show that a link from Kingston to Montego Bay alone, nowhere else, just Kingston to Montego Bay alone, will add $100 million per annum to the GDP. That's separate and apart from the labor value added, which is another $5 to $10 million annually. All the ripple effect of the communities along the route that will be developed for tourism. The business case suggests that you make significant financial gains or benefit in those areas. The first revitalized component will be from Montego Bay to Appleton, and that in itself tells you what one of the main attractions is. It also opens up the Wise Fall, the South Coast, and a number of other attractions that are in the interior of the island. We kind of had lost that vision once. We have recognized that again, and we are therefore pushing full steam ahead to ensuring that the rail revitalization plan for Jamaica come on stream, take off, and that we'll be back on track with rail operation in the near future.
So, if you missed the train the last time around, don't worry, because pretty soon we'll be traveling the metal rails again.
From then till now, Halfway Tree has remained. And from here, the possibilities of where I can go are endless. But for sure, we definitely are going to buck up somewhere on one of these streets or on our social media sites. We just have to do it with the right timing.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.